Hi and welcome back. For this game, we're taking it a bit more casual again. I'm playing against Tobias. We've actually played one game before, but I got some trouble with the video, so while I'm recording this, I don't know if I will be able to put that one up, but perhaps I already have. And in that case, you might already have seen it. So, Tobias is somewhat new to the game, so it was a game of the more introductory kind. He had his dwarves, and I decided to bring my orcs to see what I think about the army before I go and invest in some iron orcs and such. The list looked like this. So we played Seize the Scoring Units scenario and decided to go for frontline assault to save us some time and trouble. Both wanted the other player to commit, but I had more units, so I won that fight and also got plus on the roll to go first. That helped, so I got first turn. His deploy looked like this, with the Hold Guardians furthest to his left, then the Vengeance Seeker, Kingsguard with the General, a Chopper, Marksman with the Anvil behind. Next is the Organ Gun, an Engineer, the Marksman, the other Chopper with Warriors and BSB behind. On my side, from the left, is a unit of Goblins with Witch Doctor without Skull Splitter, Raiders, Scrap Wagon, more Goblins, Ed Bashers with the General, the two Wrecking Teams, Iron Orcs with the BSB, Goblins with the other Witch Doctor, Nash Dashers, and in the middle against the board edge, as you can see, there is Nash Dashers and Catapults. As you see, there are some proxies on my part and even empty bases, which I apologize for. Doesn't look that good in report, but I just wanted to try out the orcs so bad. So for spells, I got Scorching Salvo, Pyroclastic Flow, Cascading Fire, and Flaming Swords. The plan was to try to roll him up from my right and not have to fight his clan warriors at all. I start off by just pushing straight ahead from my position and get in range with the magic and skull splitter. The random stuff moves a bit further than I would have liked. For magic, I think I tried a Scorching Salvo on the left, but it was dispelled. On the right, I got Cascading Fire off, just to get the attribute melee on, which I put on his Seeker. It did one wound, so it still lives. Skull Splitter did another, and other than that, the catapults killed a few marksmen, and that's it. On his turn, he hid his Seeker behind the impasse, and the Chopper on my right sacrificed itself to destroy a Wrecking Team that was just within range. Other than that, he just moves up. Same on my left. For magic, he gets Shattering off on the Iron Orcs, killing none of them, but gives them dangerous terrain. Shooting, kill the Scrap Wagon, wound the remaining Wrecking Team, kill a Goblin and a few Ed Bashers, and that's it. So turn 2, and on the left, I move behind the impasse to be safe and to be able to cast some magic. Ed Bashers move full speed to deliver the Warlord at least, before they are shut down. Iron Orcs take it more carefully, being affected by his magic and all. Nashers move around the impasse to threaten his flank and the Seeker. The Wrecking Team rolls really low and stay behind the forest. For magic, he dispels Scorching Salvo again, but I get Pyroclastic Flow off on the Chopper, doing some wounds to the Organ Gun or the Engineer. Shooting kills a Kingsguard, both catapults miss, and I throw a Medgit through his Chopper, taking the last wound of it. He then moves both Warriors and Guardians towards the middle. Seeker run back to get away. For magic, he got Gleaming off on the Guardians. Shooting kills a bunch of Ed Bashers and does a wound to the Wrecking Team. So for my turn 3 then, things started to happen. I try and charge his guardians with both Iron Orcs and Dashers, but only Iron Orcs get in, and being very sloppy, I don't think to align them in a good way for the eventual pursuit. With only one wound left, I don't dare to send the wrecking team through the forest, so I just bumped them against the Edbashers. I had wanted to shaft the warriors with the spiders, but they failed the march block, so they are worthless at the time being. To make him think twice about charging the Edbashers, I put the grey square that represents a Madgit in front of them. The Bashers had also failed a 9-inch charge on the marksman, by the way, which was to be expected, but I took a chance there. My movement lacked quite a bit on the thinking ahead department, in other words. For magic, I finally get a boosted Scorching Salvo off, hitting warriors, marksman, engineer, and the organ gun. The result was rather underwhelming though, since it only did 3 or 4 wounds to both the blocks combined, 2 and 2 to the organ gun. The engineer took nothing, despite also getting the attribute. For shooting, only Scalp Splitter hit, killing the Seeker. In combat, the Iron Orcs performed a bit worse than I had expected, only doing 2 wounds. Actually, that was a bit lucky, since otherwise the pursuit would have left the Kingsguard with a nice flank. Instead, I charged them with a pursuit roll. The BSB was also a bit lucky, only taking 2 wounds from the one that got through. Unfortunately, the Guardians got away. For his turn, he counter-charged with the closest marksman, rallied the whole Guardians, everything else pretty much stayed in place. For magic, he got D6 Strength 6 spell off, killing 3 Dashers. Me being an Arching Goblin noob, failed to remember that they got immune to psychology, so they failed panic and run away. For shooting, he almost obliterates the Bashers, but he left me a few at least. In combat, my Iron Orc performed rather poorly again. The BSB got killed, but at least I'm steadfast and stick. I decide I need to save the Iron Orcs and send the General and the remaining Edbashers into the back of his marksman. Shooting and magic, chips at the warriors and the other marksman unit. In combat I win and the marksman break. I don't want to pursue closer to his warriors, so I pivot for another charge. In his turn, he charged the whole Guardians back into the Iron Orcs and the marksman rally. One thing that's starting to get interesting is the scenario where none of us have got the scoring units we want so far. For me, I'd chosen the marksman units and the whole Guardians, while he had the Edbashers and the Goblin units on the left. His magic might have picked some Goblins off, and his shooting did something similar. The organ gun misfires and can't shoot next turn. He tries to reroll it, but instead he breaks it altogether, so no more organ fire. In combat, the Iron Orc continue to suck, and this turn they break. At least they are quick and they get away. My turn 5, and I send my General in alone, since I think he should survive and probably kill his king. Combat res might be a problem, but we'll see. The remaining Adbashers try to hide. There are only 3 left. All my magic and shooting go at the marksman in the middle. The Dashers went into the flank of the Guardians, by the way, and after shooting he got 6 marksmen left. In combat, the Dashers beat and run down the Guardians and ended up in the flank of the King's Guards instead. There they died after killing a dwarf or 2. His general got a wound through in challenge, and my general flubbed, so he won combat. I stayed, so it's his turn. In his turn he kills some goblins furthest to the left, and they panic. In combat I do 1 wound to his king and take none back, so he only wins by 1 this turn. I can't roll an 8, so my general breaks and he run me down without a problem. He also killed the last dead bashers, so not much left. My last turn, and since the scenario is tied, I go all in to kill the marksman. Goblins reform to throw a Madgit, and everything that doesn't continue to flee go to shoot. Magic picks some dwarves off, and shooting takes the rest without the need of the Madgit. It's his last turn, and he shoots some goblin unit, but failed to cause any panic. So, despite a huge loss point-wise, I actually win the scenario, but it was not enough to draw. So it's second loss against Tobias, and I'm supposed to teach him how to do things, so I need to step up my game some, since this is starting to get a bit awkward. Next time it's Highborn Elves or Empire, I think. I haven't decided yet, so see you then.